What's up, guys? So today we're here with a replay, and I'll talk you through what was going through my mind as we had the thought process. This was a online prize tournament where I actually got into the finals by winning this game. So without further ado, I am hiding his hand so that way you guys only know what I knew at the time. So seeing that, pretty good idea right now already what deck it was. Part of me was hoping he seen my own videos and was playing Cyber Synchro, but I assumed it was Adamancipator right away. So we'll try and skip through a little more, and there we see the analyzer come out, so we know it's Adamancipator. Activating its effect with only the 3 in hand, and I have Imperm and Gamma. I felt okay using the Imperm. You probably would be better off sometimes holding them, but a lot of the time when I'm playing, I go with my gut feeling, same as when I'm at the casino. It's kind of sometimes when you're feeling it, you just do it and go with it. So we see he did have another extender right there in his hand, which, well, it's researcher, so I mean, like, they do have a lot of extenders, so it's not a surprise that he did. But again, I have Gamma as my backup in case I hit and missed on it. Gamma being very, very good versus the deck because it not only negates, but it also destroys. So it's almost 2 forms of interruption, where as they lose that body and they also lose the effect that they're going for. Let's try and speed it up a little bit. Here I thought heavily because I know he's going for Block Dragon. But I ended up deciding not to because, I mean, I don't know exactly what else he would have been able to keep doing, so maybe it would have been the proper call to hit him there. But just wasn't quite feeling it, so I ended up not. And we see the Block Dragon. And now here Halka Fiber X comes out. So now I hit it. Like I said, probably should have hit the Gallant just because, well, then he doesn't get Block Dragon, doesn't get free extenders, because the card is crazy for them. But it was enough to disrupt him severely. Not entirely sure what his deck looks like or anything, but he ended up going for IP Masquerena here. Getting Researcher for a follow-up, I would believe. But at least that's what I thought at the time. And then he ended up banishing it here shortly, so not entirely sure what he was doing, but we were playing in the semifinals, so he must at least know the deck halfway decent. And passes. I'm assuming he's going to go into a unicorn play, which that works out really good. And now here being my hand, I can save the Ash for his Block Dragon, but if I don't do that, I can OTK through this board, and I'm going to show you guys how, I guess. So 'cause most people would probably Block Dragon and they'd Ash and then go from there, but we're going to actually search out our emergency. A lot of people would probably here search out Overflow because you can still make your Infinity, you have your Ash to stop Block Dragon, etc., which wouldn't be the worst idea, but I wanted to win this turn. I know a lot of Adamancipator doesn't play these rocks at all, so that's why I question it a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead, let him get his cards because, well, like I said, we're winning this turn. We don't care about his resources when we're going to win. He spins the core back. Moving forward, we go for our Hertz, because now we're going to do Cyber Dragon Infinity combo with Hertz and Soldier, bringing the 1 back here in a second. Don't want to hit fast forward because then it just really cranks on you guys and you can't see what we're doing. But going into our Nova, bringing back either Cyber Dragon, doesn't matter. Infinity, making our Mega Fleet. And this is why we didn't Ash before, because now we're going to search out our Naxter and we need that monster to discard to special summon it. And then here we're not going to revive anything because we actually just want to go into our Verde Anaconda, and if we revive Cyber Dragon, we'd be locked into machines. Sending. Yeah, bringing out our Rampage now. So we have over 9,000 damage on board because Infinity will then absorb his Gigantes, and that would be game. Skip ahead, siding. What did I side it for him? I think I just pulled out one of my Fear because I'm playing 2 Fear. We'll show the deck list off sometime coming up. Otherwise, I sided out Cyberload Fusion and I think a Repair Plant maybe? Not entirely sure. Here I was tempted to just Imperm it right away and then Lancia because I'd be able to stop his plays pretty much all out. But instead, I wanted to try and just use my 2 imperms and save Lancia for either A follow-up, or B, a light monster to discard when I summon core and get my search off and do all of that. So I kind of wanted to potentially save the resources in hand. Keeping in mind Guardian can't negate imperms, so that's always really nice to have multiple imperms. Continue going here. Didn't negate that one because then he could just go into like Carrier, get Block Dragon, Halka-Fibrex, and continue and just do everything he would want. So shotgunning your negates is not always a good idea, but a lot of time I do like to hit their first one, because if their hand's okay, they'll still be able to make a pretty good board. But if their hand's like, if they do have a weaker hand, sometimes they rely on that first excavation, and a lot of people don't negate it. If I only have one negate, I would not even think about negating it. You save it for when you know it's going to make an impact. But if you have multiples, especially with like 3 disruptions, I felt 100% okay hitting his first one. We were maining 12, or are maining 12 hand traps, then cards like 2 Kaiju, Pankratops, and Mind Control. Otherwise, I ended up siding, so I had 15 hand traps plus those other cards still, so I'm not worried about seeing cards out his board or slow it down whatsoever, because with only 1 Cyber Dragon, no Machine Dupe, we have plenty of room for stuff, and we just don't need it, period. So we see that he ends up making just a safe board. He's got 2 negates, and get ahead here for a second. So him ending 2 negates, and there we go and get into our Pankratops, which is really, really good. So here, since we have Overflow in hand, we're actually going to go for our Hurts, because now we can normal it. And I just wanted to deal more damage. That's why we got rid of that for Fortress, because we can attack over Link Cross instead of contacting that away. And then special summoning our Pankratops. And in that situation, when you normal hers and do that, he'd be really stupid to use Kwakimeru to negate it, because it just makes no sense whatsoever. So he made the right call by not negating it, but it ends up not mattering because we're going to take out that, attack over his Guardian, and now we know we have 3 pops, Lancia, etc. Lancia does conflict a little bit with Overflow here, and we actually made the decision to drop Lancia right away because I didn't want Block Dragon, follow-up, Gigantes, anything like that to really give them extenders, as I still have the pop there at a key point. So we let him take his signs and go off with it. There is we'll talk about when we get to it, a little discussion we had where he disagreed with me, but it ended up being okay and we settled it very quickly. Just a quick discussion. So here, well, first off, 2 things happen here. Since you guys can't see the chat because you don't need to see his name or anything like that, just his life points, my name, all that is fine and dandy. First off, he used a level 2 and a level 6, but no tuners to go into his Savage, so I pointed that out. And that's where we see here for a second with his Researcher going, and then the Doki comes back. But then I also told him on Savage's summon, like chaining, targeting the Halka-Fibrex, I wanted to chain my Pankratops and pop his Savage, and he thought that Savage just gained the counters on summon, you equipped it and it gained it, and I had to just discuss with him quickly about how it worked because he tries to negate it. And then after a quick discussion, he did agree with me and we continued the game on, so no harm, no foul. Gets another Doki, but that's about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to have to tell him too that he can only use Savage once per turn. Like, so I thought he was going to go into another one here, but he did not, so that ended up working out because didn't want to have that discussion with someone after having another discussion with them. So if you guys like this kind of video, let me know, where I'm just kind of walking you through what was going through my head and thought process and everything. We can do these more often. I play in a lot of these prize tournaments, so I like to use that for you guys as opposed to just playing around for fun. When I'm doing deck building and testing, I do like to use EDO Pro as it is automated and helps memorizing combos and interactions, but when we're playing seriously and competitive, Dueling Book is always the platform of choice. So here now we're in a pretty good spot. We have a multi-pop and we can negate him because obviously he can negate the overflow. So let him go ahead. And this works out really good here because he actually uses the effect to excavate, and we're going to chain overflow, which, I mean, he didn't let us, so we'll get to that again, another small discussion. But we chain overflow, and he goes to negate and destroy it because he wants his body on board, and then we chain imperm, so he actually can't excavate those 5, and we'll fix that here shortly. He does summon before fixing it for some odd reason, and technically those 5 would still be the 5, but he just wanted to fix it and go back and I guess do it. So he could have actually, I believe it's had his Kwakimiri Guardian on the field, and he actually would have made a huge difference in the game. But nonetheless, he ends up milling and getting absolutely nothing. Going forward, we're just going to attack over and do that here. There's no point in doing anything with Galaxy Soldier. Sets 1, and we see Core Soldier. He has 1 set, and this is game. He actually made a comment about me being really lucky that, a little bit here, about me being really lucky that I'm going to have only 4,200 exactly. So I had to correct him and say that actually I have 6,700, just so he knew that I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, this is how Cyber Dragon smashes some rocks. We'll get to the finals now, hopefully soonish, and then see how that game goes. Do this for you guys again as long as you liked it. Have a good one.